Hey everybody, my name is Keith Gibbons. I'm here with Joe Allen. Today we're doing our latest episode of the Restore GT podcast. We're going to be going over the August 8th council meeting, some things that happened during that meeting, give you guys an update on that, and going over some school board updates that have happened recently. Today there was a drawing for the ballot positions, so we'll be going over some of that stuff. And I guess that's it. We'll get right into it here with
no gas leak news. No, none of that.
No,
not this one.
No, we're not gonna do the. Yeah, we should do the gas leak news. I don't know much about it though.
There's so much to take in. I don't even. There's a lawsuit apparently. There's that. So,
that was a horrible smell though.
Was interesting. The most interesting part was it started out smelled like natural gas. Like when it got here,
Yeah.
it smelled like natural gas. The government came in, took care of it, and then when they were done, it smelled like cat pee.
Is that what happened?
So they were like, we got this. Now it's cat pee. You're welcome. So that's just my takeaway from it was.
Yeah, I didn't know too much about what happened. I just know it smelled horrendous. I know I started getting nausea and nauseous. My eyes were burning, and I left. I had to get out of town. I couldn't take it.
About 15 minutes, and luckily I was finishing up my work day here at home, and went downstairs. I was like, man, I got a headache. Went downstairs. I laid down. I had a headache for 2 days.
Yeah, I found a few people, and there was a lot of headaches going around with that.
So, yeah, a ton of it, but...
and it lingered, too. The following day was not as bad, but it was still there. It was still very present.
So. A lot of posts that it was.
Very interesting.
It's back. It's not back. It just
never left.
It's gonna take a while to go away, but I think we're gone. It's gone now. So,
yeah.
So yeah, we didn't do any studying on that. So
yeah, I didn't do
just
too
some
much.
personal experience. But on to the August 8th council meeting.
Yep.
We both went. Not a whole lot to cover in there. Just a couple quick clips. The first thing that I guess goes through is there was an eGov question. If you remember from the last 2 episodes of our podcast.
Yeah. There's been one simple question worded the exact same way, and this is, I believe, the 4th, if not 5th time that it was asked, but it finally was actually answered. So the question was is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund money eligible, keyword, to be used at the Brittany Woods project that they have going on? That project was kind of just popped up. If you haven't been paying attention, it just kind of popped up one day out of nowhere that this project is going on, and no one knew anything about it until the actual council meeting. So it was, I don't want to say suspect, but it was questioned, where did this come from and why? So the question of is the money from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund eligible to be used there was asked, and it was never answered. Not never. It was answered several times. A different question was answered, and we finally got an actual answer to that question.
The most popular answer to that question before was no money has been
spent from the Affordable
from there, and that was which was going on the theme that they were going with, was, hey, this is just a private company wanting to come in and make things better and build stuff up. What do you guys care? And all anybody else, only really the question, there's a lot of questions. Like we ask a lot of questions all the time. But it was just kind of like...
To get into those other questions, go back to some of our other podcasts. You can
one of the biggest questions was, is there state or is there local money being used towards it to help this developer out with their project?
Right.
And it was never...
It wasn't answered. And because it wasn't answered, then it becomes questioned even more to say, well, why are you not answering the question?
Yeah, so we finally got...
Right.
We finally got a little bit something. So
we're going to play a little clip from that meeting, which is the actual answer to, is the Affordable Housing Trust Fund money eligible to be used for the Brittany Woods project?
All right, go to the clip.
All right.
We have one eGov access email from Ray Polidoro at 79 Highland Avenue, Ariel. At the last council meeting, I asked a specific question regarding any parts of the Brittany Woods project, I'm reading it as is, any parts of the Brittany Woods project eligibility for any affordable trust fund funding? And if so, please identify which affordable trust fund account, municipal, state, or both. Mr. Mercado stated he would have that specific answer for me regarding this project's eligibility. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I emailed Mr. Polidoro this past Friday. I guess he did not receive it. I have a copy of it. Clerk, can you make sure that he has it? So I would send that, but that project would be eligible. No funds had been used from the Affordable Housing Fund Trust, but that project would be eligible, but none has been earmarked for it or asked for it or used for it. We'll now open up the second public portion. Anyone wishing to speak?
Okay.
So yeah, it is eligible, as everybody kind of figured it would be.
Right, but why to avoid the answer is now the question. Why was it? Not hidden, but why did you avoid the question? It was a simple question.
Yeah, we kind of knew it was, but nobody. We just wanted to say it.
Yeah.
They finally said it. So that is that's your update on that question that was out there forever.
Yeah. Then we had some updates on the NPP project down in Blackwood. There was a line of questioning came from Paul Krug, local resident who is very deep into caring about downtown Blackwood and the updates there. So we have a little clip of his line of questioning and go over some of the recent things that have happened in downtown Blackwood with that NPP project. And the NPP project, just I guess to update anybody that doesn't know what that is, it's the neighborhood preservation project, I believe is what it stands for, right? I was waiting. I just noticed NPP now, but the project is basically a lot of residents are supposed to be included in this, and money that's being granted to us through a grant is supposed to be visual updates to downtown Blackwood, and that's kind of the whole purpose of it. It's supposed to be resident-centered, which makes it different from other projects that the township is involved in. This is more resident-centered, movement and visual improvements to the area, neighborhood preservation.
Yeah, so if you remember back to right before the election, there was we had a big presentation. There was talks of like what it would be like if there was a brewery downtown, the arts district. I forget all the different things. They're talking about performing arts there too. So there was a lot of things. That
was the update to the Blackwood West redevelopment plan.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that plan though is just a vision. It's not like the township can go put a brewery there. The township isn't in.
Yeah.
They're not in business to create that stuff, but they have a vision of what they'd like to see there. So then they try to help. This is the plan. Help try to move. Try to get people to come into the the town under that same premise of, hey, this is what we're creating. So Paul's just asking for an update in this clip here that we're going to play for you guys.
I did want to get an update on the Blackwood West redevelopment plan because I haven't heard much about it after I went through and there was a discussion of crafting and micro, creating a micro business economy in downtown Blackwood. Is there an update on the status of that plan and maybe as in conjunction with the NPP that's happening as well?
I don't have a particular update. Unfortunately, most of the NPP meetings take place during the day and I'm at work. Mr. Carter's?
I don't have anything on the NPP, but we are proceeding with
the buildings,
the bank building and the demolition of the two white buildings in between for parking area.
Okay. Is the bank building becoming the Black Box Theater, as I heard?
Yes, that's the intention, yes.
Okay. And so the grant money was secured to purchase that property?
My understanding, yes. I think we're still short a little bit, but we have quite a bit of grant money for that.
Okay, understood. And then who ultimately will own that property? Will that be the township or a nonprofit?
Township.
Okay, understood. And the white building is going to be demoed?
Yes.
And then sold to a developer maybe, or does the township have plans?
Parking. We're going to keep that for parking.
Parking, okay, understood. Just because I know you're on the NPP Stakeholders Committee, I know we have $125,000 this year. We're in August. It needs to be spent by December. is there any breakdown on what's been spent so far versus what needs to be spent and what it will be spent on?
Well, I can get you those numbers, an updated number. Nancy, you have his email?
Yes.
I'll email you, okay?
All right.
I'll give you that breakdown, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so in that clip there, Paul was, when he was saying you're part of the NPP stakeholders, he's referring to President Orlando Mercado is one of the stakeholders on that committee. So the committee is who decides where and what the money is spent on. I know there were several residents that tried to get onto that committee who were turned down because the committee was full. And as you heard, it was stated that most of those meetings happen during the day when he's at work, so he's not able to attend those meetings. So I guess that he's out of the loop, in being able to answer that question. We're all out of the loop on it too. Is if you go to the NPP's website, there's an actual web page dedicated just to that grant. There have not been any updates to that site. It was the initial rollout of that site, and there's nothing been on there. There's supposed to be grant money that's going to businesses, grant money going to residents to help improve the outside of there. Again, because this is supposed to be all visual improvements that are being spent, that you can look and say, they spent $125,000 improving this area. Great. We now have signage. We now have painted buildings. We have facades that went up, or whatever the case is. So Paul was asking for an update of where has that money been spent, because as far as I can see, as far as Paul could see, nothing has really been done down there, and we are in the middle of August. This money needs to be spent by December, and the only thing that we have so far is there was a ribbon cutting ceremony the other day outside of the bank building. So the very corner property, I believe it was PNC, used to be a PNC bank, or whatever the bank building is, the old historic building. The township has made an agreement to purchase that building. Now, there are extensive renovations that need to happen to that. It is a historic building, so there are roadblocks along with putting that, rehabbing that building. There's asbestos in there that needs to be remedied, and there's some things that need to happen that probably wouldn't make that building feasible for the average investor to go in and say, hey, I want to put a brewery in here. It might cost more money, have less square footage, blah, blah, blah. But the township is taking ownership of that building. So that's a good thing, in my opinion, anyway. It's at least if we own it, it will stay open and not fall subject to somebody like, unfortunately, like Shanna's down the street, which opens up, renovates the the place, and then it ends up having to close down at a later date. So there's good things to them taking that over. The other building that's in that image there to your right hand side, the white building, used to be a music school, I believe, like a school rock type of a thing. That's being purchased as well and being knocked down and made into a parking lot. Yeah, okay. I don't know how many cars can fit there, but that's not for me to say. Either way, any parking is good parking down there because it is pretty tight.
It is. It's a tight spot. The good thing is they've got a decent amount of parking across the street, so there's...
Yeah, unfortunately, the Rite Aid closed down, so there's a lot across the street.
Now there's a whole lot of parking across the street. But
yeah, but again, so this past week there was a ribbon cutting ceremony there, and from the images that were posted online, it was a lot of photo op kind of things for politicians. Not a lot of residents that were there. No, I don't know any residents that even knew that was happening. I knew. I drove past and saw it, and I said, oh, I guess something's going on, and someone else had called me about it too, and that's what we found was just
maybe these people in the back, they're just residents.
Yeah, I know one other business owner on that strip there was present for it, but they were taking pictures right next to her property, so I don't know. She's on the stakeholder committee too, but either way, that's going on in downtown Blackwood, so. That was an update there are things happening down there. There is movement. We don't know, the outcome of what it's going to be. But it was asked at the meeting, so we're giving you an update on what we were told and what what we know about it so far.
I feel like August of next year it's gonna become something again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
We got some more council elections next year, so
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think
So there's a little bit of movement now, but then not.
it's a little bit. We didn't forget you, and then next year it's gonna be full on.
How do you
yeah.
do? Yeah.
Oh
Gotcha.
yeah, we're gonna
Gotcha.
have all kinds of stuff on there.
I don't disagree. Somewhat like the every other year tax increase kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
every other
similar to that?
year.
Okay.
This is the it's the little teaser year, and
Yeah.
then next year is going to be there's going to be bigger plans.
Yep. Grand plans and
We have a brewery
excellent execution.
and a distillery, all kinds of stuff.
That would be great. I would love that to happen.
And they'll put a weed shop over there too. It's
Okay,
gonna be
yeah.
it's gonna be
That'll be there. Everything.
the arts district.
Yeah. I
But,
love the Arts District. I mean, that's what it's called now, the Arts District, but that's laughable for most people that, 'cause like, what arts? What does that mean?
I don't know. I think arts district. The only area that I think of when I think of like in arts kind of downtown, it's like New Hope.
Okay.
That's the only one. That's what comes to mind, and I think we're really far from park your car and walk down the street for a long time. So
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great though.
Yeah,
It would be.
awesome.
So, the next topic really, I don't know. The next topic was something that I didn't actually know that it was a thing until.
Oh, no?
I had no idea this was a thing. I was actually in the bagel shop on the Nook, Breakfast Nook on Cross Keys.
Okay.
And I saw postcards for rentals, backyard rentals that somebody
Okay.
put up there, and it was right in my backyard, my pool, and here's the contact info. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, I've never seen that before. It's a daring, just to give your backyard to a whole bunch of strangers.
I mean, yeah, but it's the world that we live in, You can
Airbnb,
go
yeah.
rent your car on, you say you're going away for a vacation for whatever it is, 2 weeks, and you have, you put your own house up on Airbnb. You lock away all your personal things and let somebody come in there. There's people that Airbnb and they're living in their house while someone else is just crashing on their couch. I mean, it's just, you can have, I know my own sister and brother-in-law have several cars that they have out on Turo, and they rent out their vehicles, and it's just kind of a thing that happens nowadays. The world is a different place, and you can get an Uber right from wherever you are, from wherever. And it's the same thing. It's, hey, I want to go swimming. I'm going to go rent a pool from somebody, somebody's backyard that's willing to rent me their pool. And that's kind of, we didn't go over that, but that's basically what we're going into. Is there was a ordinance put in place at the last council meeting, first reading, I believe it's called, right? An introduction or whatever, about banning the use of, or the rental of your backyard, or you're renting your pool. So the backstory to it, and I'm sure if you're on Facebook or anything else and you see, what is it? I call him Mr. Jarvis Road. Like, there's a guy that literally like rents a house out, or different houses. I'm not sure if it's always the same one, but it's renting the house out to throw a party at, and he's selling alcohol, and it's a whole thing. So I totally understand the idea behind where the ordinance came from. But if you think about it from a resident standpoint, if you're a law-abiding citizen that just has a pool in your backyard and you want to make a couple extra bucks because taxes have gone up, or gas is, whatever price it is now, or whatever the case is, we just want to make a couple dollars, you're no longer allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Or that's what the proposed, it hasn't come to be yet, but that's what the proposal is that we now, because this other person is breaking other laws, we now need to create another law for him to break to enforce it. So don't enforce the first laws and ordinances that we already have. We now need more laws.
Well, that's the thing. So there was that party, and those parties. Well, there were several,
Right.
but like those parties, you had to pay a cover to get in, and then you were given alcohol when you got there.
Right.
So it was like a high dollar cover, and there were cars up and down the streets.
Right.
And then the chief brought up another party in Washington Township that somebody rented out, and I guess there was a shooting there that happened at the party. So,
But an ordinance isn't going to stop a shooting from happening.
well, yeah,
It's not.
shootings of parties they're already illegal, and
Exactly.
and pay for profit parties. They're all
Right.
with alcohol. That's also already illegal. So
Right.
these people were already breaking the law. So there was really kind of no
Exactly.
need. And it's like, I look at it this way. Like, my neighbor has a fantastic backyard with everything, like all the amenities you could possibly ask for.
Mm-hmm.
If I, like I would pay to use theirs, because all I've got in the backyard is a garden, right?
Right.
And then I'm not going to invite people over to watch my garden.
Right.
So like I would pay them to do it, and and I would go over there probably with 25, 30 people, and that would
Have
be
a good
it.
time, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. But I would compensate them for it. And I think it's dumb to say that now that's illegal.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I think anything to any kind of respectable size, if you want to, if you need some extra income and you've got a great backyard and you want to rent it out to 30 people to come over, and
Yeah.
whatever
you want to do with it.
when it gets to be 300, that's a little different. Like I don't.
But there's already ordinances in place for that kind of thing. That's what my point is there's.
Yeah, that was my thought. I don't care if my neighbors do it, as long as it doesn't break any of the rules that my neighbors would break when they're there.
Yeah.
So that was I didn't see the need for it, and Paul Krug makes some. He does ask some good questions, and it makes some good points too.
Yeah, he has a where are we at here?
Evening again, council. We were having a discussion around ordinance 2211 and 2212. I don't know if I got to clearly state where I stood before time went up, but I want to be clear. I think that those two ordinances should be voted against. The vote should be no there. I believe that every person on their private property should be allowed to go to poolshare.com and utilize their asset, whether that be their backyard or their pool, in order to support their family, offset the cost of the pool, etc. We have a long history in this country of not overburdening, not over-regulating a private law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
And to give you an example, when I visited Florida earlier this spring, I utilized a service that allowed me to rent a fishing boat and take it out. Well, I rented that fishing boat from a private homeowner off of his back dock. And in essence, what we're saying is my wife and I and my father-in-law and mother-in-law couldn't have enjoyed that experience because that private citizen, law-abiding citizen on their own property with their own private asset wouldn't have been able to rent that asset to me to enjoy. And I think that while there are extreme specific examples where neighborly rudeness certainly shines through, to take away the rest of the citizens' right, I don't think meets the bar of infringing on their private property, private asset, and the freedom of the individual. So I wanted to state that clearly so you could think about that before the second reading and ultimate vote.
Amen. Yeah, I agree.
I was gonna wait for the part where they just were like, "Sit down." I don't recall any
silence
discussion.
afterwards.
Yeah, I don't
was
recall
the,
any discussion afterwards. But I don't know. It's I wouldn't be thrilled if my neighbor had 300 people there, but if they certainly needed the money and they had 30 people there, I don't see a problem with that at all. And like you said, there's
I think the 300 people is a few and far between. It's not an everyday occurrence. And if there were no ordinance that you're not allowed to rent in your backyard, there's other ordinances that they broke along the way charging a cover for it, selling alcohol when you get there. There's those laws already exist. So why do we need another one? Enforce the ones that are there. It's what is having another law that you're not enforcing doing? Like if you're not doing it, other than you're taking away the rights of the citizens that are
you could
following the law.
Maybe shape it so that because if your neighbor had a party every Friday, every Saturday, for the entire summer,
yeah, it could get annoying. It could get old.
Yeah, there could be some limits, but there could be a discussion about it rather than just saying flat out you can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's people will call and tell on you before they come and talk to you about something that they have in there too. So I think that's just like we were saying. Times are different. Like people don't talk to their neighbors anymore. They just rather call the police and let the police deal with it. Maybe that's part of what it is that they're dealing with. But I don't know. Either way, you're taking away people's rights that they have of their house. To do something.
Yeah, I agree.
Change it to be something different. Take pool out of it and make it car now. So now we have this ordinance against our pools. Now you have a spare car. So you and your wife have a third car. You have a pleasure car. You have I don't know, whatever it is, a Maserati, and it's prom time. And you're like, hey, you know what? I could probably get $400 if I rent out my pleasure car or whatever it is. And now it's against the law to go do that now if that's an ordinance. You're not allowed to have somebody come and pick up your car. Now that kid doesn't get to get that card for pictures and whatever the case is. You're taking away and making it's something that's yours. What if you wanted to, I don't know, crochet a pot holder or something? You're not allowed to sell that? No, we have different. There's IRS if you're that's there for that. If you have if you're selling 75 pot holders a week or whatever it is. It's a business, and the same thing with this. There's mercantile licenses that you have. I know I have an Airbnb. I have to get a mercantile license to have, to have that listed on, Airbnb. And there's things that you can do that just make it legal. You know what I mean? And make it everything works right. You just enforce the laws that are already there, or put ones in place that don't take people's rights away, but just make it. This is the process that you go through in order to get. This or that.
A simple set of guidelines.
Right, guidelines.
Would take care of it all. You break the guidelines, then the police show up.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So that is that passed or that's not passed? That was first
No,
reading?
that was like the first reading. There's still a second and public hearing and all that kind of stuff to go through.
Yeah.
So
if you have comments on it or anything that you'd like to ask, definitely show up. The next meeting's on the August 22nd.
Yep.
So,
if you can't make that and you still have questions, you can also go to our GlowTwip website for the town.
Yep.
glotwp.com, and then it's under meetings, I believe, where you can go to the GT Access. If you just search, I think, GT Access, it'll give you the place where you can go and ask questions ahead of time. If you watch some of the old podcasts, you'll see about the timing of that. Might not actually get asked at the right time, but the sooner you ask it, the better.
Yep. Final thing on the recap was your tax bills. Everybody got their tax bills.
Yep.
So everybody's super excited about that. We've got an increase, and
we all knew that was coming.
We all knew it was coming. Not a huge increase, as they say, but they do it every other year. So eventually, it kind of catches up and makes a difference. A lot of debate on the amount. So the average home price somehow in Gloucester Township is still $180,000. So based on
that's the number that they use when they say like, oh, it's only going up, whatever it is, $32 a household. When the household is $180,000 as the average is what they say.
Initially, now the numbers aren't exact, and I threw this in at the last minute. But initially, during the tax increase, they said the average home at $188,000 is going to go up $280 a year. And then we did the math and argued, no, it's going to go up more than that.
Right.
And what they did was, so it's approximately, I think it was approximately like $360 a year. But Camden County reduced taxes. So
yeah, when you factor that reduction in, our taxes didn't actually go up that much. They went up less.
So-
So that was factored in, and that was all baked into the.
So they used Camden County's
numbers.
reduction to make their increase look better.
Right.
So they said, well, the average $188,000 home is only going to go up $280 a year. It's actually going up like $360 a year. These numbers aren't exact. I would have to look it up again. But essentially, they use the Camden County reduction numbers to make their numbers look better. And the numbers that the Restore Group presented to them were spot on. So that was just I think Sam talked a bit about that during the meeting. He got up and asked some questions and talked on it.
Yeah, I don't think we pulled that clip, but it was basically I believe the number was 37% that it went up over the last. I think he said 4 years or 5, whatever the number was. But I know he was kind of harping on them, saying other people are staying flat. When I'm saying people, it's other towns. Other towns are staying flat. Other towns are not increasing it. Yes, we all understand taxes go up, prices go up, contracts are change and things like that. But we are not alone. We're not the only ones that have these same issues. Every single town out there has it. Why are they able to figure it out and we can't figure it out? And he basically told them to go talk to them, find out what are they doing, and
They don't want to do that.
right. It's
No. So, yeah, if you want to check out the whole clip, just go back to, you can find all council meetings on restoregt.com.
yeah.
They're all there. It's
Or show up.
I think it was a
Come
long
say
clip.
hi.
Yeah, definitely show up. We had some new folks I saw show up. Some folks I think were concerned about some warehouses coming in.
Yeah,
And,
we'll be doing some stuff on that soon. There's warehouses popping up all over.
Yeah, I didn't even think to put that on there because I still don't have a whole lot of information on it. So I know that there was Hicksdown Road. There's something going in. The rumor was that it could possibly be a warehouse. Then you have right behind Target.
Yep.
Almost kind of next to Target, but behind it a little bit. There's that 48 bay warehouse going to go there on, what is that? Is that Williamstown Aerial Road? I think that is.
I don't know. I didn't know it last time. I don't know what this
And
time
I forget it every time. It's right down the street
Sorry.
from me. I drove down it several times today. And then the old freeway golf course.
Yeah,
I
that
saw
was
a
just came
proposal.
out today on, I think it was 42freeway.com or something like that website. They had a little bit of information coming out about that being a warehouse. I didn't see it, but right now it's zoned R1, which is 1 acre per house, and now somehow they're going to put a warehouse in there. So zoning board, planning board meetings, important to go.
That could potentially be a massive warehouse.
Yeah,
Which-
this is one of the cases where you'll see people arguing out of both sides of their mouth. Last week they may have been arguing, saying like, "Hey, sorry, it was already zoned for that. What do you want us to do?" And then now they're going to say, "Oh, hey, it's zoned that, but we're going to have to change it. We have to change it." But it's just one of those things that.
It's a tough spot. I mean, Sicklerville Road's kind of a tough spot. There's not a whole lot of
Yeah,
big business on Sicklerville Road, so it's not like
there's a lot of traffic on that road, though.
they're not going to drop a Wegmans in over there. That's what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a Wegmans when you look at the comments on everything.
Yeah.
So they're probably not going to drop anything like that on there. But traffic on Sicklerville Road's horrendous. I mean, I live on Garwood, so I've got basically my two exits for me to go anywhere are either Williamstown Aerial Road or Sicklerville Road, and they're going to potentially put a warehouse on both. So either way I go, at some point, I'm going to wind up being stuck behind tractor trailers.
Yeah.
So again, not against putting business in the township here and increasing revenue, but yeah, like we said before, it would be great if Gloucester Township was a destination and not a destination for trucks and a warehouse.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah.
that's pretty much it for the council meeting recap. Thanks for checking it out. We're gonna go into the some school board news. So
Yeah, so some school board updates for you guys. We had a drawing today for candidates. There's a little bit of information that we have about some other surrounding towns and how they handle things for school board meetings. And we had some confirmations, I guess you'll say. We put out, we we initially put out, so here's some of the candidates that are running and some things that quick Google searches had turned up. And that then led into, other, just looking into different towns and how things are working. So one of the things that we wanted to go over was some other towns around here. We spoke one of the candidates, Dina Hendry, that's going to be running this year and is on the ballot. I'm saying this year, but yeah, I guess that is what it is this year.
Yeah,
So
22.
this time. So she in the past ran a Zoom call for candidates because we don't have anything official in the town. So similar to how Joe and I decided, hey, we're going to sit here and talk about Gloucester Township to a camera and hope people watch us. Dina put out and said, hey, hopefully people will watch if I put out something for the candidates for the school board, because we don't have anything official and there's nothing out there to get the word out about their platforms, why they're running, who they are, and all that kind of stuff. Other towns do that, but it's done officially. It's not a hidden thing or that an individual resident puts on themselves, which she has done in the past. So in other towns, what we have some information for some towns here. So let's go through these. All right, so we have Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill has been doing a forum for about 5 years where everybody can go and talk to the candidates, ask them questions they can answer. This year they have 8 candidates running, which is a pretty high number, similar to Gloucester Township. They're held in October. This year's date's not set yet. They're sponsored by the Zone PTA and moderated by the League of Women Voters. Let's see. They also offer a replay later on, so people can go back and watch it if they didn't get to watch it live. Washington Township, they've been doing one for about 4 years. Again, held in October. This year, Washington Township has 6 candidates running. They're sponsored by the president of the PTA, moderated by the League of Women Voters of Burlington County. And they also offer a replay of the event, and it's also on Comcast Channel 9. A little bit different than what we have. Okay, so Voorhees, another local town here, they've had the forum for only 2 years, but they still have it. Right? They call theirs Meet the Candidates. Theirs also is held in October, and they have 5 candidates running this year. This is sponsored by the parents group and the staff. And it's moderated by the president of the Voorhees Education System. The audience in this one in particular is permitted to ask questions of the candidates. I know Dina in the past had put it out there, and we are doing the same with ours. We're going to be asking all of you folks to submit questions that you might have that we can ask candidates when we are, interviewing those in the future. But Haddonfield is another one local to us. 4 years they've been having their forums. They call theirs the Haddonfield School Forum, held in October. They're held in their middle school auditorium, and they have 5 candidates running this year, and sponsored and moderated by the Haddonfield PTA group. Let's see, who else do we have? I think that was it that we had those examples there. But other districts are holding these. We have Eastham Township, Berlin, Morristown, Marlton, Egg Harbor, Monroe, many more. Not Gloucester Township. We are not allowed to have forums. We did the opposite. We in 2020, if you look up this on you can go to the Gloucester Township Board of Education or Gloucester Township Schools website for the Board of Education, and go to the policies section and look up this policy and read it yourself. So if you go into the next page, Joe.
It's policy number 7510, and the part that we're talking about is down here highlighted.
Yeah.
And basically what it is it says the school shall not be used for any federal, state, or local political purpose, which...
That's, and then they put in there at the end of it that it's, and as an example, school board as a,
Yeah, so... No Meet the Candidates.
Can't do that on school. Just to make sure we do not have an area that we can do this in.
Make sure you have no idea who you're going to go vote for. These are school board spots, and these are not. It's
not political positions.
They're not political, but they're also there's also no money behind it. So there's not.
Wow, wait.
Well,
There was $90,000 spent. Let's back up here
well,
for a second.
When I say there's no money behind, I'm talking about, folks like you that just, you bought some signs, it's out of pocket.
Right.
You're not going to buy commercials.
No.
It's not going to be. You're not going to be able to get out there. There's not going to be trucks with your name.
No, we're going to talk to other parents that do things like that, not have the money that you're talking about.
So essentially this town has squashed anybody else's chances of getting their name out while they over promote their folks.
Right. Which I don't even know that that piece that they've changed in there is actually even constitutional. Like that's preventative freedom of speech. You're preventing us from being allowed to speak in a public building. Like I'm not an attorney, but I don't know. I bet that could be challenged and fought.
I don't know. And unless they can offer an alternative location for people to go and meet candidates, but nobody has ever
challenged.
Nobody's ever said, "Hey, you guys can all go here and meet candidates." In fact, I know Dina reached out to everyone when she did this.
So everyone meant who?
Dina reached out
everyone, right? Everyone.
To every candidate that ran for school board last year,
yep.
And every candidate that also ran for council and mayor. She reached out to all of them.
Yeah.
And the folks that already have those positions, they don't respond. They
Nope.
don't respond because they don't need to respond. They don't care that you don't know anything about them. It's better that way. They've already got the people voting for them. So they're just they're squashing your voice, and it's
so to go back when they voted on this here, it was a 7-2 vote at that time in December of 2020. The only two people that voted against this was Jen O'Donnell, who was running again, and Mary Ann Johnson.
Yeah, so they voted to not block this.
Correct.
So they were
to still allow that type of thing to happen if it were actually to happen. But
yep.
The others all voted block them. We don't need any chance of something like this happening where people could ask us questions or that we would be looked, as a way that we're not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the people that is currently running for that voted
right.
for that amendment so that they would kind of block that, and that was Elliot Wilson.
Yeah.
So Elliot does not want you to know anything about the candidates, apparently.
Yeah. Or to use the school as the forum for that, or the place to hold that. But
yeah, well,
that's the perfect place to. Where else are you going to have? It's like saying you can't have a school board meeting at the school. You're going to have it somewhere else. Well, where are we having it? What do we? I can understand we're not holding political rallies for mayor or for council or something like that at a school, but the school board at the school, you can't have a discussion about school board candidates. It's
weird because you
insane.
show up as a member, as a resident, you show up and you can ask school board candidates questions during the school board meetings, but if you don't ever like their answers or their viewpoints on anything, if you had alternative people there that you could ask those questions to and they could give you their views and you thought, wow, I'd like what these people have to say.
Right.
How's that so different from going to a school board meeting and asking questions?
They're already elected, and that's what they're already in that position.
Yeah, and they're going to spend $90,000, $100,000 to get the next group of people in there on top of the phantom candidates that are in there.
Yeah, that's for, just a reminder, a non-paid position. $100,000, $90,000. I know it was $90,000 on a non-paid position. Do the math on why.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, there's money. There's money. There's money in the schools.
There's a lot of money in the school. Yep.
It's I don't know. That bugs me more than anything. Like I said before, the taxes
that we were talking about going up are mainly driven by that school budget.
It is. Well, yeah, the school budget is enormous. Compared to everything else that we pay for. School budget's enormous, but what really gets me is that it's just, I don't know, it seems I don't know, it's one thing if you're overspending and over budgeting my money on municipal stuff, but when you're taking school money and you've got that much influence and that much money into where it goes and who gets paid,
Yeah.
and it just seems scummy. I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
You want the parents. You just want parents there, and like we mentioned on the last episode, there's no parents coming from their side. The new candidates that they put up, or the new candidates that we found were connected.
Don't have a school, kid in the
they don't
school
have any
system.
kids in the school. But we know a few of them do, and we know at least out of the group of people that are in there now, Jen's running again, and Jen disagreed with this decision. So,
Yeah.
that was good on her. As far as while we talk about the drawings, we should talk about the drawings actually.
Yeah, so the drawings were held on August 15th at 3 o'clock at the Board of Elections over on, I don't know what that road is, or road it's off of. I'm not sure the exact address of it. But anyway, they're also Zoom, held by, via Zoom that you can watch on the...
Yeah, check it out live. It was on Facebook today.
Yeah, so the positions came up, and let's see here. There was only one person running unelected, so they didn't need to do a drawing for the Black Horse Pike Regional. But then Gloucester Township Schools, they did have a drawing for. We had 12 candidates. The 12 candidates are going to start at number 2 because number 1 position is going to be the Black Horse Pike. So actually, I am number 2 position, Keith Gibbons. We had John Austin in 3rd. Well, you guys can see the numbers here, but some of the people that were that I'm rooting for are also on here.
Yeah. So everybody made it. I guess all the ballots were good.
Yep.
And everybody made it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, petitions were good. So everybody made it. That drawing was today. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see these names in the order here on your ballot when they come out.
Yeah, they're a little bit out of order, but the numbers are next to them for you to see. I know that last time when I ran, and I thought my number was number, whatever it was, I don't even remember, 6, just say. If I had printed signs saying, hey, position number 6, it would have been wrong because then they took and made Black Horse Pike Regional do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever the number of candidates were on there. Now my 6 becomes number 11. So it would have messed you all. But no one knew that until it was time for that to happen. So what other games are going to play? I don't know that I'll be position number 2 or if Jen will be number 7 or whatever the numbers are. It could be that I'm actually number 1 because now they change it from 1 in Black Horse Pike to being 1 on Gloucester. We never know. You never know. Whatever they decide to do with that. The one thing I found interesting myself was that there was no bracketing. So, in the past they would run a what was their slogan? Building Brighter Futures.
Yeah.
So if you saw Building Brighter Futures, you knew that was backed by our local machine, and other candidates had their own slogans or no slogans.
That became the way to let people know.
Right. I think they caught on to that game.
Who the bad guys were. So
the numbers game came around and they said, okay, if we have the numbers, we can pick who 3 are together and bracket those or promote those. Vote number 11, 12, 13 or whatever the numbers are. But anyway, that's all speculation. Either way, I just found that interesting that there was no bracketing, that they must have wised up and said, we're playing a different game now. Change up how that works. But
yep. So now you're gonna have to search out the good people instead of searching out the bad people to eliminate them. So
which we're here to help you guys with. We will
are.
be asking every one of the candidates. We have everyone's email address from their petitions that they submitted. That we will reach out to every one of them, whether they're a current board member running for re-election or a new member, a phantom candidate, whatever it is. Everyone's going to get the same invitation. I know we don't have a huge following on here. It's only 2 million people watch us or something, somewhere around 2 million. Not everyone in the world, but anyway, we're going to individually reach out to them to ask them to come on. So far, just from this silly little podcast that we do, we have had 4 people confirm that they would like to come on. So we are in the process of coordinating how that's going to happen, whether it's Zoom calls and we piece them together for you guys, do individual shows with them, or however that works. We're kind of working out the details of that. Part of what we need from you guys, if you can help, is submit questions. What do you want to know about these candidates? Go to, Joe.
Go to if you go to restoregT.com, there's a contact page here up in the top right left-hand corner. Contact, and basically just fill your name out. Some stuff still in there from the election, so you don't need a sign delivered or anything like that. But fill the form out. And just
or if you do want to sign deliver, look, we can pass it on to somebody else and give them, whatever candidate you want, we can pass it along for you.
Yeah, if you want signs for a particular candidate, we'll talk to them when we have their email address, and we'll let them know also. We're just here about spreading the information, so go there, submit your question, and if you don't want to use the form, just email joe@restoregT.com with your question. I want to get the questions out to candidates as soon as possible, and I want to give them all the same questions too. So
yeah,
it's going to be fair. One of the guys running is here, so to make it,
I don't know how to handle that one. Who can
to
ask
make
me
it,
questions?
I guess I can I can ask questions, or maybe I'll bring somebody in and ask questions.
Yeah.
That way you're not questioning other
I
candidates.
go on Zoom.
too.
I go sit over there and go on Zoom and then zoom in. Hey,
Yeah.
phoning in here from Albuquerque.
I know you agreed to some questions. Dina, Jen, and Gabrielle all agreed to come in. So they got word through Facebook, through checking this out, and said that they'd be glad to come in and answer questions. I don't know if anybody else is going to come in and answer any questions.
At this point, no one's reached out.
But then again,
from our audio, this podcast offer of people coming in, we have to officially email them to ask those things.
Yeah, we did not officially email them yet. So if you know any of those other candidates, reach out to them and let them know. Just kind of give them a heads up.
Tag them in the post, send them our way. Yeah, whatever it is.
And we'll ask them some questions. It's all about basically just getting every bit of information. These people can have fantastic ideas. So
maybe they'll get my vote.
Want to hear from them.
We're voting for 3 positions, so you have multiple people to select. So
yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We wrapping it up here, Joe, or what?
We are. We're wrapping it up. We probably went really long again. So
yeah, we're gonna yell that. It's under an hour. We're good. Well, not really, but
go to restoregT.com and check out everything that's on there. And man, if you want to participate, if you want to write articles, reach out. Same contact form. Go to the YouTube page. Subscribe to the YouTube page.
Hit the notifications button.
Yeah, throw some notifications on there.
Share the videos.
Like them too.
Yeah.
Nobody likes them. A couple people watch them.
A couple people like them.
Nobody likes. Yeah.
Well, they might like them. They just won't physically push the like button.
Yeah, you got to do it.
We need you to push the like button.
If you made it this far and you're watching it right now, hit the buttons. Follow us
on Spotify too.
Yeah, we just started uploading to Spotify. Well, from the start, all the episodes are on Spotify. And where we at? We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, YouTube. I believe that's it. That's plenty. I mean, if you watch the show on all those platforms, that's amazing. Thank you, guys. You only need to watch it on one of them.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. We will see you again in 2 weeks.
All right.